Exclusive. I thought I was going to die. Mother of two suffers 3 strokes at the age of 27 despite being healthy, as she reveals the terrifying symptoms that left her fighting for her life. A young mother of 2 has suffered 3 terrifying strokes at the age of 27. Talia Jade, from New South Wales, collapsed on the floor on night of October 5. She endured slurred speech, blurred vision, disorientation and ringing in ears, but the mother claimed doctors dismissed her stroke symptoms as stress. It wasn't until she suffered another stroke. The retail worker was diagnosed by telling her story. She wanted to share the warning signs of stroke by Cindy Tran for Daily Mail Australia, published 2:22 British Summer Time, the 23rd of October 2019, updated 7:25 British Summer Time, the 23rd of October 2019. A mother who suffered 3 terrifying strokes at the age of 27 despite being healthy has revealed how doctors initially didn't believe her because she was too young. Talia Jade, from the Central Coast in New South Wales, collapsed on the floor of her home on the night of October 5 after her right leg went numb. Struggling to move the right side of her body, the retailer worker experienced slurred speech, blurred vision, disorientation and ringing in the ears. But after she was taken to hospital, the mother, who has 2 daughters, aged 4 and 2, claimed doctors dismissed her stroke symptoms as stress. It wasn't until she suffered her second and third strokes, she was finally diagnosed with the life-threatening condition that's common in people over the age of 65. Speaking to Daily Mail Australia, Talia wanted to speak out about her traumatic ordeal and the warning signs. She knew something wasn't right. Australian mother Talia Jade, pictured, who suffered 3 terrifying strokes at the age of 27, has revealed how doctors initially didn't believe her because she was too young. After she was taken to hospital, the mother, pictured with her 2 daughters, Piper, aged 4 and 2-year-old Pia, claimed doctors dismissed her stroke symptoms as stress. What are the telltale signs of stroke? The FAST test is an easy way to recognize and remember the signs of stroke. Face. Check their face. Has their mouth drooped? Arms. Can they lift both arms? Speech. Is their speech slurred? Do they understand you? Time. Time is critical. If you see any of these signs, call 000 straight away. The mother, who's been documenting her battle via Instagram, said she was getting a glass of water for her 4-year-old daughter Piper at dinner when the first signs of the symptoms struck. I was thinking, what the bloody hell is going on here? She told Daily Mail Australia. I dropped and slumped over a chair as my right leg went numb and was unable to support me. I eventually dropped to the ground, paralyzed on my entire right side. My tongue wouldn't poke out, my speech was slurred and I was extremely disoriented and not making sense when I could manage to spit a word out. I had a ringing in my head that wouldn't stop and sounded like a train putting on its brakes in my head. I thought I was going to die. I cannot describe anything like this. Struggling to move the right side of her body, the retailer worker experienced slurred speech, blurred vision, disorientation and ringing in the ears, pictured in hospital. The doting mother, who's currently in hospital getting further treatment, said the most challenging part of her battle is not being with her 2 young daughters. When Talia arrived at the hospital, she was still disoriented, but despite her symptoms, she was sent home. We told them I was having a stroke, but the doctor kept arguing, saying I was too young for a stroke so he wouldn't investigate, she said. I knew something more sinister had happened, but due to my age, I was discriminated against, being told, no, it's not a stroke. After a few hours, I was sent home after being told I was too stressed and I needed a psychologist. I was super P******** get off. As you can imagine, Talia, who goes to the gym between 5 to 7 days a week, claimed the doctor refused to give her a CT scan because of her age. I knew something more sinister had happened, but due to my age, I was discriminated against, being told, no, it's not a stroke, she said. The doctor refused to believe it was a stroke. Further problems could have been prevented if I was given immediate attention like needed. Within less than 1 hour after she was discharged from hospital, she suffered a second stroke, leaving her left side temporarily paralyzed. Pictured of her smile slightly drooped. What is a stroke? A stroke occurs when a blood clot blocks a blood vessel, artery, and interrupts blood flow to the brain region supplied by that artery, or when a blood vessel breaks and bleeding occurs into an area of the brain. The symptoms of stroke usually come on suddenly. Symptoms that may also occur in stroke are loss of vision in one eye, loss of vision in half the visual field of each eye, or double vision, sudden onset of dizziness or loss of balance, sudden severe headache with no known cause, drowsiness or loss of consciousness. Stroke is the third most common cause of death in Australia and a leading cause of disability. About 55,000 Australians have strokes annually, 73% of these being first-ever strokes. Source: Brain Foundation Australia. Within less than 1 hour after she was discharged from hospital, she suffered a second stroke, leaving her left side temporarily paralyzed. "I was pretty shocked when I finally was diagnosed with a stroke," she said, adding she suffered a third stroke 24 hours later. "Well, not shocked within myself because I knew it was a stroke, but still not something you expect to happen to yourself at 27. After undergoing an MRI, she had in fact suffered multiple strokes after 3 definite stroke marks were found on her brain." Talia said there were terrifying moments she thought she wasn't going to survive. "It's heartbreaking. When the second stroke hit, I don't remember much of it, but it went for around half hour," she said. "All I do remember is crying, saying, 'I'm going to die.' For several nights after, I wouldn't sleep as I thought I would have another stroke and die in my sleep. Still now I have side effects and think it's all starting again." The mother said she was getting a glass of water for her 4-year-old daughter Piper, left at dinner when the first signs of the symptoms struck. What are the effects of stroke? The most common problems in daily life are likely to be caused by weakness or lack of movement, paralysis in legs and or arms, trouble speaking, reading or writing, changes to the way things are felt when touched, sensory problems, problems thinking or remembering, cognitive problems, changes to way things are seen or felt, perceptual problems, shoulder pain, trouble swallowing, incontinence, tiredness, fatigue. Talia said she now uses a walking frame because she feels weak on her left side. "I now use a walking frame because I'm weak on my left side. I have hearing issues. My fine motor skills are a struggle. I have seizures and I have nerve pain constantly." The list goes on, she said. "My smile is slightly drooped. I constantly get blurry vision and loud ringing in my ears. My short-term memory is horrendous. I forget the conversations I have just had or who I've spoken to, but as traumatic as this was, I am lucky to have come out with only tiny parts of my brain dead. I have small struggles to overcome with physio and work with doctors." Talia said the cause of her stroke stems from a small hole in her heart, which has been there since birth. "It's creating clots and shooting them to my brain, which led to the strokes. I am awaiting heart surgery to try fix the issues," she said. "The hospital staff have been incredible. One nurse in particular helped me through the anxiety and sleepless evenings." The doting mother said the hardest part is not being hands-on with her 2 young daughters as she remains in hospital. Talia said she hates not being at home to see her little girls. The doting mother, who's currently in hospital getting further treatment, said the most challenging part of her battle is not being with her 2 daughters. "I am such an active hands-on mother, but after the stroke, I have been on a walking frame and I'm struggling to move," she said. "Never at 27 did I think I would have a stroke, and if I hadn't gone with my own gut feeling and instincts I wouldn't have been treated. Not being able to live our normal life and be hands-on is difficult. We have never been separated for this long. I am currently back in hospital on day 5 and hate not being there to kiss them goodnight and hug them good morning." By sharing her story, she wanted to warn young people about the telltale signs, and why you should never ever think a stroke is only for old people. "I wanted to speak out. So I can help save someone else's life," she said. "Anyone of